Hello and welcome to
Dave.
Yes, and Mackie's Shiny Side Out on WZZR, coming to you from Australia for Revolution Radio on freedomslips.com. Take a deep breath. It's home to fresh, unadulterated ideas and conversations in the chat room, and a place to get your merch. Get your merch. It's show number 479, I think.
It is.
970 and 400. I mean, seriously, what? Now, get our merch too. Before I leave this place, I want to sell some merch. When I say place, I mean Earth. Before I leave Earth, I want to sell some merch. Catch us on air, online, and on your smart device. So grab an app to listen anywhere or listen at home on a Gray's tabletop digital radio. Woo. If you miss Solaris' show, that's okay. It's not okay, but it's okay because you can get a subscription for $5 a month to the Freedom Slips archives, and you can check out her shows, our shows, all the hosts' shows for $5 a month. And her guest was, in fact, Derek Condit, and they're talking about Shungite. Yeah, metaphysical, mystical wares. It's really interesting. So he's a Reiki master, I understand, as well. Spiritual products. In fact,
psychic. Yeah,
psychic kinds of things. So, like, a great guest, really interesting. And like I said, if you've missed it, please go ahead and check her out on other platforms, or ideally at the Freedom Slips archive. And it's only $5. It's a month. That's all right. You know, $5. I mean, Netflix and I don't know the other. What are they called? Is Hulu and
Stan and ZZ Top and
Ollie. That's right. Yes, that's Laurel and Hardy show. Now, one other thing though, and this is not part of our regular intro, but this is a listener funded radio, right? And just in case we forget to mention it throughout the show, listener funded radio means you determine how successful we are as an entity, meaning all the content is free, but your donations or subscriptions or merchandise purchases or otherwise help the station stay on the air and keep alive the memory of Nighthawk, who quite selflessly, really, I think, because it cost him a lot more to run it than he ever made out of it.
Yeah.
To create the station, he built this platform. He built the platform. He did. We are here by his good grace, and I hope he's resting wherever he is in peace. I really do hope that, because I tell you what, none of us here are resting in any kind of peace. Now, with that though, we're coming to the more sober part of our intro, and this is where we would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land which we currently occupy. And for me here in beautiful Pebble Way, it's the Dark people, and for Dave,
the 𝐫𝐸𝐿.
Thank you, Dave. And we would like to pay our respects to elders past, present, and future. More pertinent than now than ever. It really is. We are. It's actually crazy, Dave. I tell you what. No. Let's get right.
How crazy is it?
It's crazy nuts, crazy.
I know.
So let's just very quickly over the last few weeks. This is what happened, right? There's still the pandemic happening, or plandemic, as I like to call it. There it is. Boom, right? India is a disaster area, right? It's imploding. You got hundreds of thousands of people infected. No, everybody, including my friends, Indian friends that have family in India. I had lunch with one of them this week, and he is, I think it's, yes sir, I'm sorry mate if I get it wrong, I think it's Mumbai, where you hail from. He said everybody in his family has it over there.
That's right.
Everybody. Now, most of them are not. I mean, it's not. It's asymptomatic, but nonetheless. But a lot of people have died as well. And he said, forget the numbers you hear on the news. Forget that. It's 10, 15 times higher.
Yeah, exactly.
And every person they speak to from India, that's on any ABC, BBC, CNN, I don't care where, all the RT, they're all saying the same thing. Even the most conservative people are saying between 4 and 8 times higher than what it is. And now they've taken to throwing people simply into the river rather than burning, because they're running out of fuel.
Remember I said that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And you know what? But there's more. Now we have to contend with something called a black fungus. It's an extremely rare infection, a fungal infection. Everybody has it. It's in the earth. It's all around us. but your immune system has to be extremely compromised before it can take a foothold and give you what is called black fungus. Now, black fungus attacks your jaw, your sinuses, and your eyes as well, and the fatality rate is 50%.
One guy had his jaw removed.
They have to. The eye goes, the jaw goes.
That's right.
To get rid of it, so it doesn't get to the brain. But listen to what I said: 50% fatality rate. Now, normally this is like onesies and twosies. That's how many infections, even in India, like onesies and twosies. Now there are thousands and thousands, and what they think is happening. And I listened to this medical professional from India, very well spoken. Anyway, he said that it is probably to do with the use of steroids, as people are being treated for SARS-CoV-2. It's the steroidal use that seems to suppress the immune system.
Wow.
And therefore encourages the growth of this fungus. That seems to be the indicator here. It's a phenomenal thing. It's just unbelievable. And then Gaza. Okay, there's a ceasefire now. That's nice.
But you know what a ceasefire... Wait, just pause. You know what a ceasefire does? It allows you to regroup.
That's exactly right.
That's the only reason you call one.
And it's a story, but here we are. And you know what do I think about this? What do I think?
Because the world is very polarized.
Oh, look, and that's fine again, but this is a very complex issue. Believe it or not, this was my major at university, right?
Yes.
Middle Eastern politics, and I'm intimately familiar with it. I mean, half my family, thereabouts, lives in Turkey. Anyway, point is that the situation is never simple and never clear cut. There is such a thing as a higher moral point of view, though, right? This is this. So do the Israelis have a right to a state? Yes, they do. Do the Jews, which make up a large part of the Israeli state, have a right to a homeland? Yes, they do. But on the flip side, do the Palestinians have a right to a homeland? Yes, they do, right? And this is where it all falls apart, because they are contending for the same land, and more so, Jerusalem. Jerusalem is probably the most contentious city on the planet. Okay, if there ever was a war that was going to be started because of a city, in fact, there have been wars, it's Jerusalem. Why? Because all the Abrahamic religions claim it as their own. The Christians claim
every last one of them.
That's right. The Christians claim it, the Jews claim it, and the Muslims claim it. And for the Muslims, it's the third holiest site, because the Prophet was meant to have ascended to heaven from Jerusalem after Mecca and Medina. It's the third holiest site. And they have been for 2,000 years. And I mean, obviously Jews have been there forever, but for 2,000 years, ever since the advent of Christianity, and then about 1,400 years ago, the advent of Islam, rather, they have been sharing the city. It's only been the Crusades in the 13th and 14th centuries that really put an end to...
And that was the Catholic Church.
Well, yes, it wasn't the Catholic Church then.
No.
That's what the
origin.
organization that was going to become the Catholic Church. 100% correct. That's exactly right. It wasn't the first crusade either. But the point is that the first crusade was against the Albigensians. But it really put a rift between East and West. Funnily enough, though, with the Renaissance, and this is really where it gets all very complicated, everybody, right? So what happens is you had East Rome, you had West Rome. So East Rome was, of course, Istanbul, or Byzantium as it was called then, and West Rome was actually Rome. Rome, and the Roman Empire had taken on Christianity at this thing. There was a schism. There was a split.
Was that when it was Constantinople?
Correct. And in fact, sorry, no, it was Byzantium.
Really?
Yeah, Byzantium. Yeah, that's right. Constantinople came
later.
After, yeah, when Constantine renamed it after himself, as you do as an emperor. This city is now me. Oh, it's good to be the king. So you had the Eastern Church and the Western Church. The Western Church, of course, became the Catholic Church, and the Eastern Church then split into the Russian, the Greeks. All the Orthodox churches literally are based out of there. There's no head of it, though. So what happened, though, is with the fall of Constantinople to the Ottoman Turks, right, in 1453.
It's not of an empire.
Yes, what happened is a whole bunch of these Eastern scholars, because make no mistake, the East, and I'm speaking especially the Levant, like Arabia, larger Arabia, going right into Asia as well. That's where all the scholars were. That's where the schools were. That's where all the knowledge was, right? These people were way advanced if you compare them to Europe. And don't forget, the Roman Empire had collapsed, right? Some 1,000 years earlier, and left in its wake, just a dark age. But with the fall of Constantinople to the Turks, a whole bunch of scholars moved west into Europe, and that precipitated what we are now, ignorantly or unbeknownly call the Renaissance or rebirth. The Renaissance was initiated by the fall of Constantinople. That's when all the knowledge flowed in from the east into Europe. Okay, nothing else actually started the event. The Renaissance is a direct consequence of the fall of Constantinople. Now, but we haven't learned in the meantime, right? And still people lived harmoniously. The Turks looked after Jerusalem for, I don't know, about 500-600 years. That's how long their empire lasted, and it was fairly peaceful. People lived peacefully, peacefully enough until World War I, and then the Europeans come and they screw it all up. And now we're in a situation where it's really difficult to ascertain right from wrong. And not only that there really isn't a right or wrong. And I know this is difficult to understand, but everybody here is right. Everybody has got a right to exist. Everybody has a right. But there are actions within that are wrong. And what is wrong is to keep people in camps for generations. It is wrong to bomb civilian populations. Okay, it is wrong to be heavy-handed in situations where I don't know, diplomacy could go much further. But Dave, in my opinion, this conflict, this situation, let's call it, will never be resolved unless one or the other side disappears.
Is obliterated. That's right.
Completely.
I heard that, I think Turkey, or no, Lebanon. There was a rocket that came from Lebanon.
Wouldn't be surprised. That's where Hezbollah is. So yeah, maybe.
Yeah, that's right. And they're the ones who have. There's, I think, what is it? Hasn't been the last 10 years. There's been an election in Palestine because Hamas has claimed control, and there's no more elections.
Oh no, well, maybe not now, but there were. And
I know there were.
Mohammed Abbas, I think.
Yeah, right. Because I heard there's someone in place, but there hasn't been an election for 10 years. This is. I'm just saying this is what I heard in the media. Yep. And there's a differential in the discussion. It's not simply polarized. The nation's polarized. You ask someone, and there's three options. Couldn't care less. I'm for the Israelis, or I'm for the Palestinians. Yeah. The left is more, I think the Palestinians are getting a hard time. The right tends to be a little favouring the Israelis. And then you have this amazing chasm of people who just don't care. I nearly said the wrong words. I had to filter myself. It's not happening in our country. Couldn't care less. Not that they don't care about the people. And when you introduce the conversation rather about war being terrible, people die, innocent people, and then you say, what do you think about this conflict, and children dying, and they go, oh, that's terrible, right? And they go, but which side do you how do you feel about it? I really don't care. It's like Yemen. Yemen got bombed to the Stone Age by Saudi Arabia, and blew up hospitals with our Australian doctors, working with the doctors, with No Borders doctors. I actually donate to them. One thing that I thought was extraordinary was it never made the media. There was never a news item about it. Sure, Israel, yeah. Whose side do you take in Yemen? Oh, is it because of the petrodollar? Yeah, go Saudis, right? Is it the human face of it? The poor Yemenis did nothing, apparently. Right? You can just have a complete disdain or dislike for someone who's occupying lands near your border or even in their own country. Doesn't matter. I don't know where I got the accent from. It doesn't matter. There are wars going on almost perpetually, because I'm bringing it up for the Big Brother thing. And for what purpose? You're not hearing this wherever you're hearing our voices. Shiny side out. Are you hearing about these? Is it in your mainstream media? Have you known all about them? Or is it just because you've been delving and looking and, happened to, stumbled upon them that you've understood? Now, I want you to send Meki and I, contact us through Facebook or email or Twitter, or do whatever you want. But I'd like to be able to hear from you, to hear how you've heard about it and which side. I'm not going to hate on you, and I don't hate anyone, Meki, who has if you've got a voice on it, I'll hear you. I'm not going to argue against the sides, right? But it's something else. It's so tragic that and likely that and this, we found this in all the other conflicts. You set up your headquarters in, was it RT? No, it wasn't.
No,
I'm not sure if it was RT's building, right? It was another one. One of the international media buildings.
It's a building. Let's blow it up. What's this good talk, crazy person?
Yeah. So what you do?
Apartment buildings, but they just it wasn't a demolition.
It looked like a controlled demolition. Is what it looked like.
Well, we don't need you anymore. Goodbye.
It didn't look like the building was blown to smithereens. It looked like it collapsed from the basement up. Which is, it's good television, Meki, isn't it?
It is.
Well, they destroyed a building. I would imagine that if it was a rocket, or a missile, that it would have had a lot greater destructive power and not look like it just, it fell down here, then it fell down there, and the whole building's now, it's leaning over. All concrete people and all crushed to death. But, look, if you're a bad person, what do? You surround yourself with kindergarten kids, right? Yep. Families, more children. We need more children here. Yeah. Bring the children. Surround me. I'm important, right?
Yeah.
But I noticed one of the things that I was watching was the news feed suddenly ended, the live feed from that building. So I don't know. I think we. To be honest, Meki, I'm going to change tack.
No, lie to me, lie.
No. Lie to me again. I was kind of thinking that this was going to be a stacks on. Everyone would suddenly, whoever have a gripe against Israel, would just launch on it. That's what I kind of thought. I thought that dome thing was pretty good, where it about 10%. It had 90% success rate, let's say, but there was no hypersonic, missiles or anything. So I have to say, from what I saw, its operational characteristics is that it was okay for rocket style or ballistic style threats, but steerable weapons, not so much. So, but I thought stacks on. I thought, here we go, Lebanon. Yep. All right. Let's see if we start to see, Iran fighters coming, jet fighters coming in for the kill.
So
not so much.
Look, you're raising a very good point overall here, and the point is that in times of crisis, which we're experiencing globally with the pandemic, this will be taken advantage of.
I completely think that's the case.
I mean, think about it this way for a second. I mean, if you wanted to really hit someone hard right now, let's say you don't like India, for whatever reason, Pakistan doesn't like India, China is not a good.
That's right? Shooting fish in a barrel. Yeah.
I mean, if something were to go down now is the time, or soon, as it were, because the country's in a mess. It's in a mess, and now the neighboring countries, Nepal, Bangladesh, Tibet, they're starting to become they're just as bad now. I mean, the numbers aren't the same because the countries are a lot smaller, but the ratios and percentages are the same. So what's coming out of India into the rest of the world, forget 2022. we can write the 20s off here. I'll be 60.
Yeah,
before I can
completely.
travel, mate.
Absolutely.
It'll be, it's that's where we are.
So
make sure that whatever it is doesn't get into your country.
So we've spoken previously about the vaccines. Now, I'm not going to hate on any of them. Just saying that we previously had identified there being hit pieces from, one brand to another. The hit piece spoke down about the opposition and up about their one. And that was obvious when I read them, and you have to go back some episodes for that. One of the things that we also brought to you was Vaxzevria, and everyone goes, what the hell is that? Well, that's the AstraZeneca rebrand for their vaccine, and it's not being used in this country, Becky. The rebranded terminology, they're still keeping it as AstraZeneca, though in Australia they've decided what they're going to do is bring in a third party, another one. So Moderna, another mRNA vaccine, is going to be offered. So I think there was some deals made, and that's really interesting because we bought a lot of AstraZeneca. I mean, a lot.
No, not us. Australia.
No, not Mickey and I.
Dave and I. Dave and I, we've got 2 caravans full. Come and get it here.
I got a warehouse. Mickey, I've still got the warehouse full of voting forms, right? Pre-filled in voting forms.
Quite you.
Yes. Yes, that'll do. So I've, now I have a warehouse full of, I can't sell it, vaccines. No, so what's happened is, right, in Australia, AstraZeneca was initially pitched and accepted by the government to deploy to everyone. And then they went, oh, that Pfizer vaccine's pretty good. Well, we'll give that only to government workers, frontline staff for medical, and then emergency services. So the military, police, fire. But the rest, all of the useless eaters get AstraZeneca. And I thought, hang on a minute, that says something about why wouldn't you give the frontline workers the good one? Oh, but they are. So now all the blood clots and everything, I think it was 5 blood clots last week, 5 independents. There was also a 19-year-old woman who got some blood clots. And she's a hospital worker who decided, oh, look, I'll get the AstraZeneca one, right? Bad for her. It wasn't good. Some people have actually become paraplegics where their spinal cord has been eaten by themselves. And this is that thing where your autoimmune system is looking for the attacker, can't find it, starts to eat you. And that's
shocking, dude.
Yeah. So this is now where we're going to introduce another one. This is Moderna one, and I've got a friend of mine who was getting vaccinated today, and which that's okay. My father was vaccinated; he got the AstraZeneca one, and he's not got any symptoms or side effects, but he's also got some really rare things going on with him. Where him and his brother both had an over iron content in the blood disorder. And I think it was named after his brother, who ended up passing away.
That's something to look forward to, having a condition named after a chronic. We call this the Danger syndrome. Oh, yeah. What? Thanks a lot. You notice the third eye growing out of his ear? That's unusual.
Well, you want to go down in history for something, right? I suppose, right?
That's Hitler made the same argument, right?
Well, hey, we've all, and you've just brought his name up again, so it's quite a popular thing, populist idea, that one. So I was telling my friend all about the vaccines. I don't want to go into it too much, except for like 60 seconds worth, right? So I just basically put it out there to reiterate to our audience again, Mickey, that the vaccine does not stop you getting the virus, and it doesn't stop you passing it on. All it does is allow you to be like the 90% of people who contract the virus where it wasn't severe at all to them, and you become asymptomatic. It means you've got the virus, you're passing it on, though you may not even know you've got it.
That's right.
Yeah. So all the vaccines do is reduce the severity of the infection when you get it, right? So that's SARS-CoV-2, as Mekhi said. The thing is, that's not understood in the mainstream. People don't understand that. They're all looking for this herd immunity. Yeah, we'll get that, and it'll be great. And no, because like I said, the more hosts that encounter the virus, the more opportunity for mutation. So it's going to be with us forever.
Yeah, but I mean, see, herd immunity, like I said before, and this is the city of Manaus in Brazil, where the statistics tell us that 80% of the people had it in the first wave. The second wave comes along. It shouldn't have, because herd immunity should have been achieved, even if there was a variant, right? But no. The second wave was much worse than the first. So Brazil is in a world of pain. In fact, more pain, believe it or not.
They're third now in the world.
Yeah, I know, but in terms of numbers of population, they've got the highest death rate per capita, and they have got the highest, I think after India, second highest infection rate per capita, because there aren't that many people in Brazil. There's only about 300 million or so.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, sorry, 200 million. Yeah, so it's actually bad.
It's really bad. Yeah. So the case fatality rate, Mekhi, I've got to say, Britain has recently declared that all the people now that don't have any sign of the virus are indeed recovered. That wasn't their stance previously. They had been very cautious about releasing or accepting that people who don't show the virus now, they didn't want to say that recovered because of long COVID. And what does it truly mean for them? They held off. But now, so the graphs that I plot and type in the numbers every single day, they're showing now the world case fatality rate down to 2.28%. That's crazy.
Well,
so,
based on numbers that we know, yeah.
Yeah. So once again, only test to confirm people who had presumably been in hospital or treated that way have been counted. We can't say, in Australia, Mekhi, even though we've had, I think, 30,000 people with it, being tested and confirmed to have had the virus, our researchers in Australia reckon that got to 90 of asymptomatic.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's probably right.
Yeah. So about 3 times more than we tested. So if you're looking at the numbers for, say, India, it's probably like, as Mekhi said, like 10 times, maybe 20 times greater. Since you brought the numbers up, can I just make one comment around the callousness of some people in the world? I think this was the lady that runs Virgin. I'm not sure. I think it was. Oh, yes.
So she said, let's open up the economy in Australia. This happened in Australia. Let's open up the economy. You know what? Some people will die. Sure. And then you go, what? You just said that on the record?
Yeah, you're on the record as saying who cares, right?
Wow.
Yeah.
And the Prime Minister felt compelled
to make a comment.
To make a comment on it, because he finds it, I think it was unfathomable, or he just can't understand how anyone could make a comment like this. And good on him. Because that's just, see, this is
way to distance yourself.
There was this little thing on TV recently, not that recently, and this was around fatality rate on the roads. So we said, around Christmas, let's get the number down to 20. So they asked people, so in the street, what do you think an acceptable fatality rate is on the roads?
0, right?
Christmas time, is it 20? Is it 30? Is it 50? Is it 100? What is it, right? People would say 10 or 5 or 20 or whatever, right? Whatever they said. And then what they would do, these producers of this TV show, whatever number they had set, they would then bring in 5, 10, 15, 20 or 30 of their family and friends and bring them in.
Which of those did you want to die?
You're okay that these people are not going to die, are you?
That's true.
As soon as you're confronted with the reality that, hey, this could be someone that you know, that you love, that you care for, that you work with.
I meant 0, right?
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. All of a sudden, no, not these guys. No, I didn't mind.
People I don't know. It makes it much better. Yeah.
People that I don't know. Those guys. Yeah, okay, I see. Right, that's what happened. And that's really how we operate as people. And she clearly she's fine, she's got money, and she's probably going to be okay even if she got sick. And so let's open up so I can make more money. I'm losing money over here. Come on, open up the economy. So some useless eaters, as it were, and this is, I'm bringing this phrase in because we are going to talk about the parasitic system we're living under. That's our show cycle. Where let's let the useless eaters die. India, they're all slum dwellers. Hundreds of thousands are dying. That's okay. That's okay. Doesn't matter. Who are they? People I know. Right? In America, 600,000 people. Well, that we know of anyway. 600,000 people have passed away in America. 300,000 in India. Almost 500,000 in Brazil. Altogether, almost 3.5 million globally. These are the numbers that we know from people that were tested. The real numbers are much higher. Let's be very clear here, right? Millions and millions of people have perished. But let's open up the economy, Dave. I'm losing some money over here. What do you do? Come on. Come on.
Yeah. Well, they've still got their planes parked everywhere. And so few of them are actually able to get about in the sky. And you've got to think that the people who are... their entire existence, let's put it that way, is hinged on them making money and success, and they've got a bonus coming, right? That bonus, what are you supposed to do with that?
Yeah, no. See, this is what you do: buy real estate when there's blood in the streets, metaphorically speaking.
Yeah, that's a thing. It's completely a thing. So look, it's really hard. It's hard for everyone right now, and look, tourism is tanked because we've got our borders closed. Imagine if you were Greece, you'd have nothing, right? Because no one pays any taxes, and everything was foreign spend. And I think
they had the Greek tourism minister on Hard Talk.
Oh, really?
The other night. It was interesting to listen to because they're opening up. They want to open up, encourage European tourists into Greece again. And the Hard Talk is about asking hard questions. I think what's his name? Sorry, Tim Sebastian did it best.
Mm-hmm.
The new people don't really do it well. Point though is, no, we're doing it well. It's all good. No worries. Everybody can come. Nobody's gonna get sick. And because again, we're losing money over here. Come on to Greece and spend some money. It's really something.
I just have to say I'm quite disturbed by the place we're in. I didn't think we were going to. I didn't want it to be. Maybe instead, I think if I had to rephrase that, I didn't want it to be where we're at right now. But it's going to be like this and it makes the Great Reset making so much easier when we're all on our knees begging for something. Yeah. To me, that's where we're going to be. The comment that the flippant comment about being on our knees begging for the thing we never wanted is because that's advertising, right? They create a problem, then they force a solution on you, but they wave it around and go, hey, we can do these things, it'd be great, join us, yeah. And then we go, oh, can I? When can I start to do that? Oh, as soon as you've had the vaccine. But I don't want the vaccine. Well, you can't have it. So this is the thing. I feel the whole, George Orwell spinning in his grave at like 1 million RPM right now, right? Because everything that we're in, our entire existence, we were responsible for saying no. But we haven't. We've been offered everything that he thought about as enhancement to our life, right? Yeah, we've got GPS satellites in the sky. We can track ourselves. We've got maps in our hands. Who knew that was going to happen? We can then, go jogging, and it can. Not that I do that anymore, but we could, I can see the exact path I took and the time I took, and it's awesome, right? Yeah. Except you've got a device in your hand that listens to you, can turn the camera on at will, the microphone on at will, it can It can sell your data to someone else for just by putting an app on your phone that you don't even log into. There's now more actors in your phone with access to you and who you are than there has ever been in the whole of human history. Your life is transparent now because you've got a cell phone.
Yeah, well, if you have a cell phone, that is 100% correct. And you freely, well, not just cell phone, but
freely
it's cell phone coupled with social media.
Yeah.
Because before cell phone, I mean, cell phones have been around for a little while now, and and they were were really telephones for the most part. But now they've become a lot more powerful. But it's more interesting and a lot more pervasive and intrusive are the social media platforms. And the device, be it a cell phone or whatever, is just the enabler. It's just the access point to this universe of social media, in which all of you, well, maybe not all of you, just leave it all hanging out. You leave it all hanging out there for everyone to see. Go on then. People talk about privacy and this data protection. Really? What? Have you been asleep for the past 10 years? There's no such thing. Come on, seriously? There's no privacy. There's everything is transparent. You Google or you do, it doesn't matter what platform you use or what search engine, you do something in there. It gathers profile information. Mm-hmm. Even if you're spoofing your IP address, if you're smart using Tor, and you can have some success there, but even then the Tor profile that you're in, even though it might not know where you are, it will still gather data on the things you do on Tor. That's the dark web browser.
Yes.
Okay. It will, right? It might not necessarily connect it to the other avatars that you have out in the world. Eventually, though, it might, through some smart algorithms. Who knows? And then I'm in not in that business, but I'm sort of peripheral to that business. And I can tell you right now, some of the algorithms that are out there, they're predictive. They're predictive. There's machine, there's deep learning, there's data lakes, data oceans they're talking about now. Mm-hmm. You can get some smart people that know math and statistical methods and analysis. There's very little that we can't know about you. Very little. They brought out this skin, I think it was Google that brought out this skin checking app. It can check your skin for cancer.
That's right.
That's your phone. So your phone, the camera passes over your skin and you go, maybe you should see a doctor. Wow! I mean, that's like the scanner in Star Trek. The
tricorder.
Tricorder. There you go. Right? We're living in the future. We are there. Right? I still haven't got my flying car. Oh, Dave, we do have to talk about disclosure as well. And I just want to give you a little segue here. Right? I was watching Minions. Mm-hmm. I was watching Minions for the first time. I've never seen Minions before.
I love Minions. Mm-hmm.
I do too now. Now I've seen Despicable Me, but never the Minion movie. So I watch it. And the Minions escape from where do they escape from? The ice cave, right? They leave the ice cave because they killed the Yeti, whatever. The point is that they go and you can see them going from America to Egypt, etc., etc. And then in one scene they're walking on the moon, right? So they get in front of the American astronauts that are putting down the flag, and then the camera pans back, which gives you a wider panoramic shot, and you can see it's a studio, right? And these American astronauts are planting a flag in a studio that looks like the moon. Mm-hmm. And I thought, what a nice
great commentary.
Mm-hmm. And it was meant, because it was in 1968 that this took place, the movie, right? Or 1969 by the time they get to the moon studio. So there's a nod to Stanley Kubrick and everybody who thinks that the 1969 moon landing did not happen. In Minions, Dave. It was in Minions.
I know, right? I know. So, look, just real quick, there's a competition currently being run on the station, which is really interesting. You can come up with a brand new Revolution Radio tagline. Something like, we currently have Where the Truth Never Sleeps, or You Don't Need to Expect Us, We're Already Here. These are the ones that introduced or invented, I suppose, or used by, created by Nighthawk, the beloved passed away owner of the station. So dragging out the truth. It's actually pretty cool too. I like that. But you can come up with your own. If you've been a person who's gone, oh, I can come up with a better tagline than that, go on. And you can email themadpainter13@yahoo.com with your entry. 1 entry per person. So make sure it's a good one. And the competition, it will be announced or closed. This is Friday the 4th of June. Midday Eastern Daylight Time in the US. And the winning tagline will be selected by the station's management team, after which the successful entrant will be contacted for address and t-shirt size details. It'll be made as a t-shirt for you. How cool is that? Right? For a chance to win a t-shirt emblazoned with your tagline. Do enter and make sure you get in there. If you're listening to this on YouTube, you may have missed the timeline, so I hope you haven't. Next. Disclosure. Oh my goodness, Mickey, this is like the hottest topic everywhere right now.
But and you know it happened. We blinked and it happened, guys. I said this.
That's right. And COVID was a tremendous opportunity to be able to put anything out there. It doesn't matter, right? So the 5,500 page bill that was put through the US Parliament back in January, I think, right? It's called the COVID bill or whatever. There's like a couple of pages on the American government having to declassify what it knows and make public not classified information. Well, sorry, what its output will be be plain text, and it won't be redacted. What it's supposed to, we're meant to work out right now what the hell it knows. But all of the stuff that's come out, all the footage and all the things we've seen, even though the debunkers call it all blurry footage and it's infrared, and well, the reason why it's infrared is because the top secret technology that did film it, that wasn't IR, which would be, full high def, blah blah blah, it's still classified, so you can't see the output of that. But what you can see is what we have seen. If you don't know what the Tic Tac video is, it's in my head, and I can't help it. It's the era we live in. What we're now seeing is everyone clamoring over themselves to bring up all of the old information that everyone ignored, thinking it was just bunk. Yeah? Everything is coming out of the woodwork. And I think it's really important that it does, whatever it happens to be, I think it's going to be the point at which, if they tell us, Meki, we've only got a few choices, right, of what these objects are in the sky that's being filmed. And I'm not talking about any other cases of abductions or whatever. All I'm saying is, what do we see? The UAPs, unidentified aerial phenomena. What are we seeing in the sky? It's either US military or some other military on the planet. So just call it military. It's a visiting from some other place object, or it's already inhabiting the Earth. Since it isn't, no one's declared it being military testing, but there could be some that are. The other two are extraordinary. So if you've got a tiny little craft that's only a meter across and it's looks like a translucent bubble, that's not, to me that doesn't seem interstellar. But I am a Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy fan, and scale might be a thing. Remember how the whole warring group of alien ships was eaten by a dog.
That was fantastic. But it was a slight miscalculation of what was it, the
size? Yeah.
The entire third destroyer fleet of Craxor was swallowed by a beagle.
that's right. Yeah. So
I got it right here. I bought a new copy because I lent it to someone.
Yeah.
And And they never get it back.
You never get those back, right? So I just have to say that if it... still funny. I have to say that whatever the things are in the sky, I'm leaning personally on things already inhabiting the Earth.
Mm-hmm.
They're living here for some reason. Maybe they were always here, or maybe they came here after they discovered we had the matches. You know, we were playing with nuclear weapons. Maybe they've always been here. Maybe they are the Watchers. Remember, the ancient texts talk about the people that were remaining after the rest of them left. These were the Watchers. These are the people that were meant to look after us.
The Gregorians and which was it's actually 𝐫𝐸 that we
That's right. Yeah.
And the name Gregorian or Gregor and all that comes from the 𝐫𝐸. So yeah, you're right, Dave. That is correct.
But how does that make you feel? To think.
I feel all tingly.
All tingly. So that's the question that I raised, right? So remember that the Brookings report was it had determined that the people were not ready for this information, and it would be the end of society. Well, we've kind of got to the brink of society anyway, and what the hell? Don't even care anymore. Yeah, sure, they're here. Whatever, right?
Exactly, but see, the thing is this.
Kind of thought so anyway. These are all the answers.
Yeah, it was these seeds were planted a long time ago. We're talking like 100 years ago, 200 years ago. These seeds started to be planted to be people be aware. But make no mistake, this is just another red herring, right? To focus us away from what really matters. But you're right, Dave. This look. How can I put this best? Think of this reality as a bubble in a gigantic bubble bath. That's where we are. We're inhabiting a bubble of reality, right? And it's real enough. I mean, everything that happens here happens. It happens. Absolutely, it happens. It doesn't quite happen the way you think it happens, and nothing is quite what it seems. But it's a real reality, right? And it is here because we are here. And within it, there are many, many mysteries, and they're real mysteries because they're part of this reality. It is real. Okay, just to be clear. And what happens here affects you on a very deep level, right? Your essence is affected by everything that happens here, including the mysteries and the things that go wrong, your choices, the things you do, you don't do, etc., etc. So we can't just dismiss it. Oh, none of this is real. No, not at all. It is absolutely real. And when we talk about these mysteries that we can't solve, like Dave talked about now, disclosure is talking about. Well, who are they? What do they do here? That's all part of the things we need to know and find out. Only perfect knowledge, as much as that's possible, will help us to fully understand the conundrum we're in, and then potentially get a way out of it. All right. So does it matter? Yes, it absolutely matters. It absolutely matters what it is and what it all means. We have to understand all of the mysteries, not just the ones we're interested in. Okay. You have to broaden your perspective and really dig deep, and don't take at face value what they tell you either. Right. So all of a sudden, Dave, all this stuff happens, right? Oh, there's Tic Tac, and there's a whole bunch of other things as well that are not being disclosed, right? There's the frozen, I think it was the frozen UFO in the sky. What's it called? Is the frozen?
Let it go. Let it go.
No,
the other frozen. Yeah.
The other frozen. There you go. And then the TV shows that we're having recently, I'm still waiting for this Skinwalker Ranch to be continued because that was just unbelievable. But it's there. It is there. How long have they been here? Well, okay, right. You know the truth. They've been here forever.
That's right.
We are them.
They are quite possibly. Well, we're part of them. There was another story that I found recently, and this was the U.S. government orders NASA. Get humans to Mars by 2023. Sorry, 2033. 2033. That's a crazy date, Mickey, because that comes before, 2036. And there's an Apophis thing still looming, although NASA goes, it's 2059, it's longer than that, right? Whatever. But we have a bunch of things on the planet that seem to suggest that there's a date maybe a little closer, because we have seed banks who thought they were even going to be a thing. We've got Elon Musk, we've got 3 other agencies all trying to get people to live on Mars for some reason, when the moon could sort of kind of work anyway, right? Because, yeah, but even Elon Musk says it's not far enough away. Away for what? Like, so if you put people on the moon, they could watch whatever happens, right? He's talking about nuclear war. No one's firing nukes at the moon. Who's going to do that? Who has the capability of wasting a nuke at the moon for some reason? No one. So this is the thing. What is it that is going to endanger humans to the level at which we need to put them somewhere else? You can't just have them in space, because, man, you could have 10,000 people living in space by 2033. No problems. Look what we've got now. We've got all this stuff that's, you know, this technology, reusable rockets. In fact, that rocket design I found in a 1948 science fiction film. Lands on its tail. Does exactly what Elon Musk has made, but back then, that's what we're going to do it like that. We're not going to land like just the top bit, right, and waste the rest of the rocket. Crazy.
There's a phenomenal book I'm reading at the moment. It's called The Gone World, right? I read a lot. Anyway, it doesn't matter. The point is, it's talking about deep water, deep time, deep space, and essentially, you know, it's a science fiction novel, but it is dealing with the secret space and the secret time travel program that the Navy is undertaking. Interesting enough, and it's really phenomenal. The way it's described, and it's just the background, you know, for the novel to unfold in, and it's a massive part of the plot as well. But if you know what you know in the world, you know that these programs are real. You know that all of that stuff is real, and we have you know, not been to the moon for a reason. We're not fighting war in space for a reason, right? And we're not, you know, we can't drill too deep either in certain areas of the world. We're just not allowed to, right? So it's all connected. It's really quite it's really quite something when you really look at it and you start to fully understand what is going on in the world, Dave, right?
Mackie, if you were digging in your front yard and suddenly you found an ant's nest so large and voluminous beneath the ground that you were surprised that you could walk over the top of it without falling into it.
Oh yeah, completely. Look, but you know what the funny thing is? That there's an ant's nest that spans 3 continents. Fact. That's an actual fact. There's an ant's nest. Just think about that for a second. If the ants can do it, right? If the ants can do it, so it's yeah. No, Dave, I hear you.
So that was what what's the fellow's name, Mickey?
Which fellow?
That was digging the deep underground military bases and was shot at.
Oh.
Well, we'll have the name at the end of the break, because there's some music. Donate. Okay, so look, we're going to end the stream, start a brand new stream for the show topic, and we'll see you on the other side of the break. Take care.